like books.
Books are great.
Let's
Guess
go
we'll read some books.
Oh. Today
And we're back.
we're going to talk about restraint.
Whoa, reel it in, Karen.
Restraint.
Reel it in.
Reel what in?
The
My
restraint. Yes,
I can't
reel in
really-
your restraint.
I'm trying to reel in my restraint. I'm restraining and I'm... How
Speaking of
does that work?
restraint, I am restraining my response to the screen capture software that is just totally messed up. If you do Let's Plays or Let's Reads or whatever, if you use any kind of screen capture software, please tell us in the comments what you use, because what we're using is not getting the job done.
That's putting it lightly.
Okay, restraint.
Second, restrain your immediate response. Very few adults have learned how to control and direct their anger. Most of us follow the patterns we learned in childhood by observing our parents or other significant adults. These parents tend to cluster around two extremes: verbal or physical venting on the other hand, or withdrawal and silence on the other. Both are destructive. For most of us, anger control will be something we must learn as adults, and that means unlearning old habits. Thus, restraining our immediate response is extremely important in establishing new patterns. Restraining our response is not the same as storing our anger. It is refusing to take the action that we typically take when feeling angry. Solomon wisely wrote, go
A
figure.
fool gives full vent to his anger, but a wise man keeps himself under control. And again, people with good sense restrain their anger.
Can Solomon ignorantly write something? I mean, he's wise. He asked for wisdom.
Bubbles?
He can write bubbles?
Angrily, yes.
Okay.
He's the only one. You can't be angry and say bubbles. Try to say bubbles angrily.
Bubbles!
Bubbles.
I think that sounds fairly angry.
Yeah, but you're saying bubbles. How about apple juice?
Apple juice.
Give me my apple juice.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Or consider the soberness, speaking of soberness, of this proverb by Solomon. A quick-tempered man does foolish things. Author Ambrose Bierce said, "Speak when you are angry, and you will make the best speech you will ever regret."
Oh, that's like every day when I get in the shower.
It's true.
Yeah, 90% of my shower time is just winning imaginary arguments.
Most of us will have had the experience of saying or doing things in the immediate flush of anger that we later regretted, but unfortunately we were unable to erase. Far better to learn to restrain our immediate response. From time to time, I meet people in my marriage seminars who say to me, "I cannot control my anger. When I get angry, I am overwhelmed. I cannot restrain my response. I simply go berserk." While I am sympathetic with what one person is saying, and I understand the overpowering nature of anger once it starts to roll, I believe that this is an ill-founded statement. It is true that once we begin to release anger in a destructive way, verbally or physically,
It is difficult to stop the flow of lava, but there is that moment before the red-hot words begin to flow that we can train ourselves to restrain that response.
nice
I mean-
page turning.
What?
Nice page turning skills.
Oh, thanks. If you can't restrain yourself, who can? What do you expect somebody to tie you down? You're responsible for your own behavior, even in the flush of anger.
You're an adult.
Many of us need to count to 100 or even 1,000. Did your mother give you this common sense advice?
Yawn when you're tired? Yeah. she
Don't
did say
yawn
that.
with your mouth open. When you're angry, count to 10 before you do or say anything. It's good advice, but many of us need to count to 100 or even 1,000. This long delay may quell the fire within. Many have found this to be a workable technique in helping them restrain their response. I suggest that you count out loud. If you're in the presence of the person at whom you're angry, I suggest you leave. Take a walk as you count. About halfway around the block, when you come to 597, you'll probably be in a mental and emotional state where you can stop and say,
I am angry about this. Now what am I going to do?
For the Christian, this is time to pray. Lord, you know that I'm angry. You believe I believe that what they have done is wrong. Please help me make a wise decision about how to respond to this situation. Then,
with God, you begin to look at your options. Another technique that I have often shared in my marriage seminars is to call time out when you realize that you're angry. This may be expressed verbally by simply saying the word time out, or it may be expressed visually by the timeout sign often seen in events and television with outstretched fingers on both hands and brought together to form a T. It is your symbol for saying, I'm feeling angry right now and I don't want to lose it, so time out.
If you both understand that this is a positive technique and not a cop-out on the situation, then you can accept this as a positive step in controlling anger. Please note that the timeout is not for 3 months. It is simply for a brief time to give you an opportunity to get in control of your emotions so you can approach a situation with constructive something. This is really important, this timeout thing. Whenever... I often feel like I've got like a task manager, like a computer running programs, and I've only got so much memory or processor or whatever. And when I get overstimulated by all the things that are requiring my attention, that's when I get frustrated and I start lashing out at any new stimulus. Even if it's just the most simple, innocent thing, I just cannot handle one more thing right now. And that's a lot like what it is to be just totally angry, just explosive angry, is to be overstimulated and out of control. And when that happens, it's sometimes the most mature thing I can do is walk away. But in the middle of an argument, that can be one of the most destructive things you can do, is to leave, because you don't leave unless you mean it. You don't point a gun at somebody unless you're going to pull the trigger. You don't leave unless you mean it. So it can be really destructive to just clam up and walk away, which is why it's so important that both people understand I am at the very limit of what I can process. I want to be mature and loving and good about this, but I really don't have a single another brain cell to use in this, so I need a time out. I need a break. I need you to give me a break because I want to deal with this like an adult and not like a stick of dynamite. So give me a minute. If both of you understand that this is a positive technique and not a cop-out, then you can accept this as a step in controlling anger. Get in control of your emotions so you can approach the situation with constructive... What do you think the next word is?
Action. Yay!
Hey! Nice one.
I didn't look that up ahead of time, guys.
Karen, good job. But I have to ask you.
Yeah?
Why are you really angry?
Really? Let's get down to the bottom of this.
Why are you really angry?
Really angry. You can tell a counselor wrote this.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. Step trace takes place as you are restraining your immediate response. While you are on your timeout, and after you've counted to 100 or 1,000, locate the focus of your anger. If you are angry with your spouse, ask yourself the following questions. Why am I so angry? Is it what my spouse has said or done? Is it the way he or she is talking? Is it the way he or she is looking at me? Does my spouse's behavior remind me of my mother or father?
Oh boy.
You always tend to marry your mother or your father. It's just a weird Freudian twin. Is my anger toward my spouse influenced by something that happened at work today or my childhood years ago?
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Story time.
Yay!
Okay, so I'm going to tell you a story. This kind of goes back, this builds on this and goes back to the last section that we were talking about. Just recognizing when you're angry and calling a timeout. So one day I was scheduled to volunteer at church. I was going to run video camera. Okay, and I was going, it was Saturday.
Was it audio camera?
Yes, it was not an audio camera.
Sorry.
It was a video camera.
That just seems redundant.
Hey, if you have ever run an audio camera, like, comment, and subscribe.
Sorry. You were running camera at church.
Yes. I was going to run camera. They were having a meeting, so I went to the meeting. It was like 3:00. I'm running late. I'm hungry. I'm tired. I don't like being late. I was just really overwhelmed. I was at my limit, and I got a call from my mom. My mom called me, and I answered it because, of course, I love my mom. I want to talk to her. And
he's a mama's boy.
Hey. Sure, whatever. My mom's awesome. You know my mom. Like, comment, and subscribe. Anyway. She's talking. I'm like, yes, mom, that's great. Okay, all right, gotta go. Okay, thanks, bye, love you, bye, bye. Okay, bye. Okay, I love you, bye. Okay, bye. And by the time I hung up and I was right outside the door to the meeting, I was just so mad. Steam was rolling out my ears, and I was so mad. And I was like, right when I got this book, too. So I was thinking about this, and I'm like, okay, I'm angry. Take a few deep breaths. Now, why am I angry? Why am I angry? I was like, well, she ought to know I don't have time to talk and blah, blah, blah. And like, is that really it? Why am I angry? So I went through it. Am I angry that I was late to the meeting? No. Am I angry that my mom called? No. Why am I angry? Why am I so angry at my mom? After thinking about it, it turns out I was mad that I did not have more time to talk with my mother. I love her. I want to talk to her all day. And I was upset that I had to cut the conversation short. But guess who I took it out on? I took it out on her. I acted like it was her fault. And that was just so eye-opening that I was mad at the very person that I wanted more time with. But isn't that how it happens? We hurt the ones we love and so on. Just, why are you really angry? That answer is so hard. It's just hard to ask that question. But when you get the right answer, it can change everything. I was upset that I didn't have more time to talk to her. I called her back and apologized. She's way more important than the meeting or me being on time or any of that. You know? So just, you really have to ask yourself, why are you really angry? Anyone can be angry, but to be angry at the right person for the right reason at the right time and in the right way, that takes a lot of practice and processing. And this book, trust me, this book can do it. It can teach you how to do it. It taught me, it changed my life, and that's why I think it's worth this time to sit and read it on YouTube.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe. #/InRant.
Hashtag slash?
Slash tag.
Slash tag?
Slash tag InRant.
Okay, step 3 takes place after... wait, hang on. Why am I so angry?
Sheila
was angry because her teenage son Josh neglected to clean his room before leaving the house, and her mother was due to arrive in 3 hours. After Josh had gone out and Sheila had time to cool down and reflect on the episode, she realized that her anger toward Josh was more about her mother than about her son. Her mind rushed back to a scene years ago in which her mother had glared at her and said, "You'll never amount to anything. Look, you can't even keep your room cleaned up." That same mother would soon walk through the door and observe Josh's room. Would this be the final evidence that Sheila was
indeed a failure?
Spoiler, no. She admitted that if her mother were not coming, Josh's room would not be a big deal.
That's it right there. If her mother was not coming, Josh's room would not be a big deal. It's like any other day of the week. In fact, his room was often cluttered. But this understanding helped Sheila make a more positive approach to anger. Before she thought about it, she probably would have been mad at Josh. Although Josh isn't doing anything different or even arguably wrong. You know, if that's how his room is allowed to be, then why should Sheila get mad at him? No, this anger was between her and her mom, not between her and her son. Mm-hmm. And only by stopping and asking, why am I angry, does that become apparent.
Yeah. The bottom line in locating the focus of your anger is to discover the wrong committed by the person at whom you are angry. What is this person's sin? How has she wronged you? Doug angrily said of his wife, Kelly, "She never has any time for me. I wish someone would tell her that she's married." When he analyzed his anger, he realized that the issue was not whether Kelly should go out with her friends. His anger really focused on his unmet need for love. In his mind, that was the real issue. A wife should express love to her husband. He did not feel loved. He felt neglected. His anger really focused on Kelly's failure to meet his emotional need for love. This insight led him to process his anger in a much more constructive manner. His love language was probably quality time, just for example. I'll admit, I am overweight, and if people come about my weight, I will get angry. But often it's not so much at them as it is at myself.
Well, it is a social faux pas to bring up someone's weight.
Yeah, and they don't do it, but usually it's not in a demeaning way. It's more of a, I'm concerned for you because I love you. And even then, I still get mad.
The secondary issue is, how serious is the offense? Nate not showing up on time for a date is certainly not on the same level as Nate being abusive. Some wrongs are minor and some are major. Each calls for a different response. To have the same response to minor issues as one does for major issues is to mismanage one's anger.
Unacceptable!
Good thing none of us do that, am I right?
Yeah.
You may find it helpful to rate the seriousness of the issue on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 as the most serious of offenses and 1 as a minor irritation. Numbering the level of offense will not only help you get it in perspective, but sharing the number with the person at whom you are angry may prepare him or her mentally and emotionally to process the anger with you. For example, if you tell me that the issue is a 2, I will know will not take all night, and that if I give you my full attention and seek to understand, we can solve this one rather easily. On the other hand, if you tell me it is a 10, I know I'm in for a long evening and must postpone my WeRead until another night. This is like the dishes in the sink. To me, it's a 1, maybe a 2. But to you, I'm sure it's a little higher.
Well, it's not a 10, but it is probably a 4 or 5.
Putting the dishes in the dishwasher.
Yes.
Because it's not just about the dishes or the inconvenience of it. It's like you specifically asked me not to, and I'm blatantly ignoring you, which would lead to you feeling unloved and ignored, which I love you, and I don't want to ignore you. I don't want you to feel that way, so I should make more of an attempt to put the dishes in the sink, but that's neither here nor there. The point is that I feel it's a lower number, she feels it's a higher number, and by relaying that number, I begin to understand that we see this differently.
Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily about the issue, but about the way the person feels. If you think it's something really trivial to be angry about, but the other person does not, then that means you need to think more about the person than about the issue itself, and not just write it off because you don't feel the same way that the other person does.
Yeah. The dishes is a great example. We're going to keep coming back to it as a metaphor. And
hopefully he'll actually do some by the end of the WeRead, but we'll see.
Hey, easy. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We got a long book here. With me, the number system is great if that works for you. With me, I like to simplify it. I just ask the question, is it a sin? Is it a sin? Is it a biblical sin? In the book, the Bible, is it something that says, this will come between you and God? This is something He has said is morally wrong, and because of that, you put your eternal soul in jeopardy. Is it a sin?
Sometimes that's a hazy line, but that's something between you and God that you need to ask.
Right. Leaving dishes in the sink? Easy. That's not a sin. Okay, it's not a sin. And so it does not deserve to be on the same level as murder. Even though sometimes it can be. It makes you want to kill somebody, doesn't it? Anyway, so just I can remember times I've been so angry about the way I was treated or something somebody said to me, and I just had to stop and ask, did they sin? Yes or no? And when that answer is a no, just knowing that what they did is not a sin helps me calm down and deal with it rationally. So
I like books.
Books are great.
Let's
Guess
go
we'll read some books.